Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Alva, the creator of the Alva Method, this process of self-discovery that I have been inspired to give back the power to our clients. And I'm super excited and grateful to introduce Missy Fuscaldo, who's a physical therapist in California that I had the pleasure of getting to know from a friend of a friend. And she joined the Wild Women of Abundance. And recently she's joined the Alva Method Practitioner Training and is having amazing results with it. And I wanted to have her on right now because I was a physical therapist for 23 years. And I myself felt that, I'm an emotional woman and I held chronic pelvic pain for 14 years of my life. And I used to just have an overall much more tension in my shoulders and my neck. I remember I used to get neck pain and just musculoskeletal pain. And a lot of it was just because I was being really hard on myself. Yet in physical therapy, we weren't taught the connection between the mind and body. In traditional physical therapy, I'm talking about, at least the way 23 years ago school was. And so Missy, I would love for you to share how you're benefiting from the approach, the Alva Method approach, and what changes you're seeing differently than the other ways of how we can be working with people.
Yes.
And thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited because I have to say, even just being able to integrate this into my own life and then the gifts of being able to use it with my clients and my patients has really kind of been transformational for all of us, in the sense that even just asking the question, I'll ask people now, like, what would it feel like to not be identified by our pain? And because so many people I find become attached to that identity. That's how that's just how they see themselves, and it becomes this program that's just on repeat. And so even just asking that question, I've seen people be like, either I can tell they're not open to it, but I've seen some people literally shift their whole energy, like, wow, I've never even really thought about not being in pain. And so it's such a cool way to even be able to initiate that feeling of empowerment, that they are in control of what's happening in their body. And so, yes, it's been transformational.
And those questions come from neuro-linguistic programming, which I'm sharing with all the students. It's changed my life. And I felt, wow, we could speak to people in a way that influences their outcome. I want to take a class on that,
Yeah.
And even with myself, actually, I tend to want to do things to help people because I love to help people. But what I realize is my relationship with myself has changed so much since learning neuro-linguistic programming. And it is amazing how people will be like, what? What would I be like without my pain?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that would feel like. And so imagine when someone says, I don't even know what that would feel like. Then we get to say, well, what would it feel like if you could imagine what that would feel like? That's a powerful question right there. Is, let's just say you could imagine. Can you imagine what it would feel like if you could imagine what it would feel like? And then people say, well, okay, I think I could imagine that. But to imagine that it's totally gone, that's like, whoa, they get really scared. So that I learned also in NLP, which is a great one. Great question. And so how else has this particular training, because I've given people a lot of meditations to experience, and is there anything you're benefiting that you can notice a change from the Alva Method, these meditations or the body scan, or have you been...
So I'll answer first from how it's changed me as a practitioner and influenced me. Being able to be present with my clients is very, very different. I feel like I can listen to sort of my inner guidance a lot more easily now because I'm just sort of trusting that it's there. And then I find that I'm being much more productive and actually much more effective in my treatments because I'm just trusting and I'm just feeling in my body what that person needs instead of trying to control everything and have an outcome in mind that I feel like I have to have at the end of the session. And so I feel like it's much more directed through my intuition, through me doing the meditations. And then for them, I find too that when I have them do the body scan or I have them do the E3 breath, I feel them again, I go back to the word of empowerment, that they feel connected to being part of the healing, instead of looking at me saying, you have to heal me. You know what I mean? Like, so now I feel like they feel more involved in the process of being part of their sort of whole body healing and using
That's
those.
awesome. That's so great. Wow. And this is the E3 breath is an exercise that came about with the purpose of, I thought to myself, well, how can we teach people to release chronic stress? Because chronic stress is basically our perception of chronic stress is the chronic stress. We are creating it. For example, a little 4'11" mother-in-law from Sicily might cause you a lot of chronic stress, but she's not hurting anybody, you know, which that was kind of my life, you know, when I was married. And I realized, you mean it's not my mother-in-law that's driving me nuts? It's myself believing that things about her, the narrative, the perception. And so I thought to myself, how can we influence ourselves to be more open to releasing the tension? And so then I created this purposefully E3 breath, which stands for extension, expansion, and elongation, E3. And so the name of it is going to guide people to open, right? Instead of release contractedness breath, right? Because that would have the word contracted. Extension, expansion, elongation. And so this is what I've taught all the students, the Alva Method practitioners, to begin sessions where we're literally rinsing away and processing out. It's like wringing a towel of all the tension and the stress in the body. And a lot of us walk around with chronic tension. We hardly ever open up our arms throughout the day, right?
Yes.
And so this it's the opposite of what most of us are in the position of, which a lot of us cross our legs, cross our arms, we're hunched and we're on the computer. And so it definitely is a Control Alt Delete for your nervous system and the fascial system too, and your energy system. And awesome. So how about with your clients? Is there anything else that comes up before we close this sharing time?
I will say another thing, because I've taken, and I've told you this before, I am an insatiable student. So I've taken a bazillion courses, read all the books, listened to all the podcasts. And this is the first approach that I've been exposed to, thank goodness, where there's actually practical application that works fast. That's the coolest thing that I love about it, is that I didn't have to be in it for 2 years to learn one thing that I can apply with my clients. After a few experiences with you, I was able to integrate it into my practice, see results, inspire people, change my life. So I think that's one thing I want to say, is that I'm so grateful to the effectiveness and the rapid change that I'm seeing with people with very little exposure. It's just this instant change.
That's another beautiful thing, is that a lot of training courses, there's many steps to get there. Mm-hmm. And I honestly feel sometimes that's more from a business perspective, that people are looking at how can I present something. And like I did a Site K practitioner training, and we spent a whole day on learning about muscle testing. And so I literally came into the training, I already muscle test myself, and I'm very intuitive. So for me, I could have just taken the 4 days, I think it was 5 days total, the whole day. So like I overly knew muscle testing, but really I felt like that. And it was a lot of money. It was very expensive training. So, and then even with yoga trainings, I've taken many yoga courses, and sometimes I feel 10% of it is really something I could take and apply. And so, yes, I actually created this thinking, how can we give people rapid healing with minor effort? Yes. Major healing, the slogan is major healing with minor effort, because the rapidness, we are energy, and so we work at the speed of light and sound. However, something that I've learned is that we literally can retard the healing by not being ready to really release all of the pain or all the whatever it is. And that's something that I've had to learn, to have a lot of compassion, that not everyone's going to want to have a rapid release. And that's okay. Yeah. That's when I'm still learning, because I realized how it is actually normal for us to be miraculous. And thank goodness I studied a lot with Dr. Joe Dispenza. He wrote a book about the supernatural. I think that's his latest book. He uses the word supernatural. And so he's the one that really helped me just absorb those facts that our nature is to have miracles happen to us. It is normal for us. However, if we are very attached, and it's really us deciding to be open to something new. And I know for me, I mean, I'm 47 and I've been working at this for a long time. And some people, I'm not really quite sure exactly what it is, but some people come to me and they say, you know, I've been to the chiropractor, I've been to the acupuncturist, I've done all the meditations, I've taken all the courses, and I need something else. And so maybe it's also about a readiness that people have, that they're just ready, they're willing, they're open. And the other one is maybe certain people we appeal more than others. I mean, you're so yummy, Missy.
Oh, thank you.
So loving. But believe it or not, I've had clients who literally have told me, Michelle, if I work with you, I'm not going to have to see my acupuncturist. And I really like those visits. And so I don't think I'm ready for this. I've had people tell me things like that I don't think I'm ready to heal. And thank you for the phone call, because I always let people know, you know, your whole life might change from this experience. And I just want you, you know, are you ready? Are you willing? And are you 100% committed to these changes that you wish to see? And sometimes people, they get nervous and they're like, you know, I'm scared. And then I'll send them the meditations that are free on YouTube, and they can get to know my voice. And sometimes financially too, people are not ready financially, but really I've had people that they manifested a series of sessions with me. Their mother gave them a series of sessions because she was so passionate about talking about me. And then she showed her a YouTube video and her mom's like, I want you to work with her. So it is so amazing how people who are really ready will manifest the funding, the finances, or will barter. And then the people that are not really ready, they don't have to be ready. That's the thing. You can live in chronic pain for the rest of your life. There's no right or wrong. I just felt obligated to create something else because some people were frustrated, and some people have had surgeries where the doctor tells them, listen, we got to take your uterus out because that's why you're in bladder pain. And then they take the uterus out, and they still have the same pain. I've had like 4 different women I met that the same story, where they think that it's another organ next to it that's able to be removed. But who said that your uterus is okay to just remove it, right? I happen to think it's a very vital organ, and why not refer to some more less invasive? So if everybody knew about the Alva method, that we can actually process and release effectively and rapidly. And there's other techniques out there that, why not that be the first go-to? This is what I would like to see more in healthcare is you can work with people over the phone with this approach. And lucky they are that they get to see it in person also. So for some people, that is the way. You know, some people say, Michelle, you know, I'd really love to see you in person. I don't want to do phone sessions. And then other people are like, I'm not ready to see you in person. Like, can we do a phone session? So this is what I think is great, when we have different options for people, right?
Yes. Which is, and I also wanted to say that there's another part of the method that I want to highlight that I think is really unique, in that not only do we work on processing old stuff, but the best part about it is that then we talk about creating. It's the processing and the creating, which is like my favorite part, because there's so many people that will say to me, well, what now? That feels like there's like this void. Even if they feel better, they're like, well, what does my life look like now? I'm like, whatever you want to create. What do you want to create? It's such a cool part about it.
I think for a lot of us, we don't imagine enough. We don't spend enough time dreaming up. And sometimes we even think that that's silly, because the whole collective has not yet become aware of how powerful we are. and how, yes, and I definitely learned that from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm working with Kevin Walton in Creatorhood, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, you know, all these visionary, it's interesting how they're all men. Louise Hay was big time proponent for this, imagining what you wish to create. Maybe not in those words, exact words, but so I wonder how many of you listening to this interview, I would love it if people can comment down below. Have you dreamed up what you want to create? Are you in chronic neck pain, back pain, shoulder tension? Are you still holding on to years and years of resentment, grief, loss, and you feel depressed, or you feel anxious and have panic attacks? You know, I love working with people that have these challenges, because I see such quick results when they're sick and tired of nothing else working for them. Those are like my ideal clients, because they're like, I'm open to anything, Michelle. And so it's so much fun to work with you, Missy, and I am so excited for the whole physical therapy world, because it's so nice that you have your feet in both and you get to use your voice, really, because the Alva Method is really an approach that we are guiding our clients with our words, our intention, and our energy. And we cultivate ourselves as a practitioner to be able to guide people. And it's so easy to weave it with physical therapy, because it doesn't replace, it augments physical therapy benefits, because you're acknowledging the person as a multidimensional being, which is what we are. Absolutely. So I'm just so thrilled, and I'd love to do another interview in a couple months.
Yes.
In the 6 months of this training, and see how it really does evolve. And another thing is the Alva Method Practitioner Training is massively about being more intuitive and having more of that heart connected, but also creatively open. You know, it's about opening all the parts of us in every sense of the word, and so that we could be practitioners that are completely embodied and present. I think a lot of times, I mean, I don't want to generalize, but I think a lot of healthcare people are really tired and stressed out. And so the number one thing in the Alva Method is to take care of yourself and really honor how your body's feeling all the time. Because only from that place of wholeness can we really serve in facilitating these miraculous shifts in people. So if we're depleted, we're not really offering a high vibration. So you're just radiating, Missy.
I'm just so grateful for myself, because my whole self-care routine has changed. I'm much more present for my clients. I'm more present for my family. It's life-changing, and it's a great ride. I have to say, it's awesome.
Well, I'm so honored that you are a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you,
everyone. So I have Missy's information all down below. Especially, do you work with people long distance or mostly in person in your office? In your office?
Yes.
Okay, so I will have all your information down below. So reach out to Missy, everyone, if you want to get some more support. And do you take insurance, or it's all private pay?
So it's private pay, but I do offer super bills for people if they want to submit for out of network.
Beautiful. And she's going to be offering also phone sessions in the very near future. So stay tuned for that too. Thank you so much, Missy. So much love. Thank you. Oh, and I just want to mention one more thing that's coming up. If there are any physical therapists out there, chiropractors, massage therapists, life coaches, counselors, and you want to learn more about how to be more intuitive, embodied, and share these awesome gems of tools to empower your clients to do their own facilitation of whatever that is, message me, because I'd love to have you join us or learn more about the training that I'm going to be offering next year. The next, Alva Method Practitioner Training, for sure. This is one of my main missions now, and the Wow Women of Abundance, to just keep on nurturing these groups that I feel the world benefits greatly when we are practitioners that are teaching people how to unleash and harness their innate healing power, because it really does come from within. Thank you for being such an amazing practitioner, Missy.
Thank you.
Mom and wife, and just overall amazing person.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.